Because you don't want them to see you. No.
Nothing at all.
So we can just, it's okay, it always happens. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
We're off. We're off. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our first CSTA SNJ meeting of the school year. I'm excited that you're here to participate. Those of you joining us online, thank you. And first of all, chapter business as always. Do we have that from the last meeting?
Actually, no, because there were only 4, we're still voting on the May minutes, which we did not vote on in the July meeting, because there was only 4 of us.
We're going to hold off on minutes from the July meeting. Just
We're voting on May minutes.
we need to clear the May minutes, so we need somebody.
We can't vote on those either.
All right.
Because we need enough people that were at the May meeting to actually vote on that. So we'll table that.
All right, so we're going to table minutes. As always, make sure you sign up for a CSTA membership. If you have any questions on whether you're a member, I believe that's something we can look up for you. Additionally, if you provide us with your membership ID number, that would be awesome as well, so we can kind of keep track of things on an hour. One new thing that CSTA is doing this year is the CSTA Plus membership. It comes with a fee. The general membership does not. CSTA Plus membership has a $50 fee. You can see some of the things you get out of that. You get access to the latest research, exclusive classroom experiences, guest speakers, teaching aids, kits, circuits, maker tools, a bunch of different little things that you could display in the classrooms, gadgets that might help with teaching science, obviously. You also get priority access and discounted registration for the CSTA National Conference, which this year is going to be held in Phoenix, Arizona. Last year was at Omaha, and there's nothing but good reviews for that. This year will be in Phoenix. You get subscription to publications and monthly membership newsletter that only you get as a CSTA Plus member. And online courses, there's discounts for those, as well as support for CS teaching certifications. So this is definitely something that CSTA is pushing. It's a pretty great organization that's helped all of us as computer science teachers, but at the same time, they do need to make some money so that they continue to provide that support. So this is something new that they're starting. One thing that's not mentioned in that slide is there will be availability for chapters to receive some of that funding back to help support them. So the goal is that CSTA can make some money and then give it back to the chapters to help the chapters thrive and do a variety of things that they're trying to do. Another thing that's happening right now with CSTA members is they're starting to bundle some things. So Workbench, that's the name of the Workbench Education, I believe it is offering different things. Cost without CSTA membership, you can see, is almost $1,500. Cost with a CSTA membership is $1,275, which is a 50% discount. I'm not going to read through this slide, but obviously you can see some of the things that are in here. You have Google Classroom integration, which would be a neat thing. Stuff with drones, integrate programming into your drone projects by using their integrated programming Canvas and Workbench. You also have that Parrot Mambo Basic 6-pack where you can see the different things that they supply. So this would be software as well as some of the hardware components and the actual support, professional development, licensing for your classroom. This could definitely be a pretty awesome way to beef up your computer science class, add in some more hands-on activities or real-world things that might really grab your students' attention. You know, we often face, when am I going to use this? What is this all about? Well, if you were to take part in this, you could start to have that application for your students. Right? They have another offering here, which is the Alpha Kits. Without the CSTA membership, it's $800. With the CSTA membership, it is $620. right? You can also see the classroom kit would be $1,599, and with the CSTA membership, it's $1,299. Same thing, this is more a classroom set, deals with licenses for teachers, 2-hour professional development, learning how to use the kit, how to make the most out of it, how to integrate the projects using the programming canvas and workbench. So you get all of the support with this along with the tools and gadgets. It's always great to get the tools and gadgets, but then it's always how I use these things. Or we all know we go to awesome workshops and they talk about, let's say, Lego Mindstorms, and you have all these great ideas, you leave, and then it's okay, I don't have Lego Mindstorms. This kind of bundles the two together. So you have an idea of how to teach it as well as the actual hardware to go ahead and use it in your classroom. Like we see, these are pretty heavy discounts for CSTA members. They're really trying to encourage membership, make sure that people enroll, and like I said, the CSTA Plus membership. And here is another example, the Makey Basics. Once again, cost of the CSTA membership. Without it, it's $1,300, roughly $1,300. With it's $1,000, 20% discount. Once again, support the license, the PD, and the actual hardware to go along with it. As you can see, you have everything from drones to Makey, so you are covering multiple grade levels. This could be something you do in a high school class. It's also something that you can do in a middle school class, or even a little younger than that, if that works for your curriculum and your students.
Did you mention Hummingbird? That you could borrow the Hummingbird? I don't know if I put a slide in that for there or not. Go to the next slide.
Couple more slides here.
Yes.
All right, I guess this is the big one. This is the
So this is
all
what, yeah, this is everything you get. If anybody has any questions, just ask in the chat.
all clumped together here. So obviously the total cost goes up, the discount's still 20%, you're still getting the software and the hardware, you're still getting the license. So this could probably last an entire semester or a year playing around with these things, whether it's the drones or the Makey, or even the SAM lab classroom kit. Right, just to give a little idea of what Workbench Education is, the platform discovering, creating, and sharing projects, with professional development, and your bundles offer a full solution of schools implementing STEM, coding, and robotics, so it does cover a variety of ranges. Maybe you don't have coding in your school, but you're pushing for STEM in your district, and you want to add in that coding component. It's a nice little way to kind of tie this all together. And then same thing with robotics. We have the contact information there. You have an email for Becky Durana, as well as the website and a phone number if you wanted more information on that. You can contact her directly. Questions? Anything to add, Michelle?
Looking, if anybody has any, anybody have any questions in the chat? We have like 5 or 6 people in there. Nobody's put any questions in there. Nope. Continue.
So we do need to make nominations for chapter leadership. We need a nomination for president, vice president, secretary, treasurer.
That is correct.
So we will be taking nominations. We will either accept nominations right now, or we are going to get them sometimes and send emails.
We'll follow up this meeting with an email, and send big nominations.
The previous email had gone out a couple of days ago. We'll also follow up and remind everybody, so if you have any nominations, you can nominate yourself or someone else for a position, and then we will finalize a vote next meeting in November. All right, participation in a study, this was from.
Okay, so, this was a communication that came over to us. Kyle Ressman, he's a master's student in computer science at the University of Nebraska in Omaha. He's looking for non-English native speakers
So if,
in classes. So he's looking for teachers that are teaching non-native English.
This is a book for K-12, or is that included in codes of
He didn't, this was exactly the information that we received. So it's just a preliminary survey and then they contact you if you're selected. So he just said we're non-native English CS teachers. So, or who teach non-native. So, you know, I know in a lot of universities, we have people teaching business courses that are non-native speakers, but for the other one, a large population of ELL students, that's an interesting, I don't know what the survey is really about. Put it out there.
so if
Somebody
that
wants to
applies to you and you want to take a look, please feel free to do. It's always good to help all of our students that are looking at anything CS and trying to make it more accepting and accessible for everybody. Some keeping current stuff, you got all our websites, our Twitter account, our Facebook, none of that has changed recently. Moving right on to CSPD and resources, here are the common links that we always share. Remember, csfornj.org is kind of the hub of everything computer science in the state of New Jersey. So on there's material for teachers and professional developments linked to there. There's material for students and activities and events that they can attend. There's some stuff there for parents if they want to see what's going on. You can go to that website and eventually jump off into all the legislation in computer science education. All of the CSTA chapters are now linked to that page. So that csfornj.org is basically the site to go to for any information on computer science education, K-12 in the state of New Jersey. That would be kind of the jumping off point for anything you might want to find about computer science education, K-12. Some professional development opportunities. GCNJ Center for Excellence in STEM Education is still running workshops. Some of these are in person on Saturdays, some of these are webinars. They are all free, so that's kind of nice. You can check out the link. They have everything from Arduinos, Lego Mindstorms, every possible computer science, robotic thing that you could possibly think of, app inventor workshops. So I've seen a little bit of everything from there. They're constantly sending out emails. Take a look at their website. You can see all their offerings. Like I said, typically on Saturdays, and they do webinars, which might be during the week, depending on the presenter schedule. They are also branching out. Not all of the workshops are held at TCNJ. So some might be at, let's say, Keene or Rutgers. So they do branch out and help kind of move around the state so that it becomes a little easier for people throughout the state to attend. Also, they are always looking for presenters. So you can take a look at that link if you're interested in presenting. You do something neat in your classroom. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I do this really cool thing with 3D printing. And you complete the survey and explain what you would want to present, and then they reach back out to you. You need opportunity, kind of showcase what you're doing in the class, share it with others, and you get some feedback and have somebody take through a workshop that has increased tips on what they do. So you have workshops are always out there. This out. Right now, we're in the school year. It seems like they stopped their summer PA. Now they're trying to get their school year PA. So one thing we're doing
Yeah, that works. You're done.
Okay, can you hear us now, Daryl? Carmelita, you can hear us? Okay, great.
I can. I can hear you.
You start that,
I start this over again.
yeah, I feel so bad. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna rewind, so I'm not sure when exactly we got to audio. So for teacher professional development, we have the TCNJ Center for Excellence in STEM Education. That is putting on a lot of professional development. These are Saturday workshops and or webinars. We cover every possible avenue of computer science, from robotics to 3D printing to teaching AP Computer Science A to Arduinos or mobile app development. And they kind of run the gambit of options. Take a look at the link. You can see the things they're offering. There's always new stuff being posted. They do run the majority of the workshops at TCNJ, but they are branching off and doing some of the workshops at different universities. So I know that they've done a few workshops at Keene, and I want to say they've done a handful at Rutgers. If you're interested in presenting, either in person or a webinar, there's a link there where you can kind of propose your presentation, and then I'll obviously get back to you and see if it matches what they're looking for, and then set everything up for you to go ahead and do that. An opportunity to get PD as well as an opportunity to give PD. All right, as far as other opportunities,
Let's go. And bring me your book.
Carmelita, you have a question?
Nope. Can you hear? Is my mic not muted?
I'll mute you again. Hold on.
Sorry.
No problem. Unmute. They have to speak.
all right, so if you have anything to say, you can just unmute and just chime right in. We'll catch it on our end. So that's the teacher PD opportunities. There are a couple student things that we wanted to make you aware of. The first is the NC-WIT Aspirations in Computing Award, which is an award for female students interested in technology. The application has actually already started, and it closes, I believe, I want to say the first week in November this year. And I know this is something I've always done with my students, I guess, for the last 7 years or so. And the neat thing about it is your students don't have to be like the student that's done everything computer science up to this point. It's an aspirations award. So a lot of it is, why does this interest you? What are you going to do with this? How are you going to use this moving forward? The application itself is simply like a checkbox of things that they might have done, clubs they're involved in the school, whether computer science or not, activities they're involved in, computer science or not, software they've used, whether that's in the classroom or maybe they have a Mac and they just like using iMovie and they've done a ton of editing, or Photoshop on their own. And they literally just check their level of experience using those things. And then there's some more technical things like programming language, website development. But what you'll see is a lot of your students have done some of this exploring on their own. In addition to the check boxes, there's also a handful of essays. And all the essays are kind of reflective in nature, where these students are asked to talk about their most memorable experience in using technology. It doesn't have to be the greatest computer program or that they won a hackathon. It can be something as simple as, every time we do group work in English and we do a project and our teacher gives us an option, I choose the option of creating a web page. And through that, I've learned how to create a web page. So that's what the essays are looking for. Like, what is the role of technology in your life? What have you done? And then usually there's a component that states how you plan on using technology in your future career. And I think that's a good point for these students as well, to see that computer science can apply to so many different careers.
Is that the aspirations? Or
That's
the
all,
ecos?
this is all aspirations.
Okay.
The only tricky thing is there are bullets. The easy part is there's a apply once, and there's national winners, national runners-up, regional winners, regional runners-up. Down here in South Jersey, we are actually part of the greater Philadelphia region. So if you have your female students do this into the greater Philadelphia region, at some point in New Jersey, it is no longer the greater Philadelphia region. I don't know. I think there's a northern Jersey region or New York. Maybe Daryl might know that. So Daryl, if you want to chime in with that.
Daryl, do you know?
I just thought it was New Jersey. It's out of Kane, but I just thought it was the New Jersey region. But everything out of Kane is basically New Jersey. I guess it's more northern New Jersey.
And so, yeah, I guess we just got to kind of see where you would connect there. You know, every time that I've had my students apply, they said you should be part of the greater Philadelphia region. There is a cutoff line somewhere in the state for which region you're part of, but I'm sure that's information that can be easily obtained.
I thought it was county, like certain counties, and so if the student goes on to check, they'll tell them like their address or their county, either county or something.
So when you set up when they set up their actual application, it will notify the female students that, hey, you're part of this region. So that's the local region you apply for. The really awesome thing about this is there are a ton of opportunities and winners. And as winners, whether you're a national winner, national runners-up, regional winner, regional runner-up, you immediately become eligible for scholarship money. There's a bunch of universities that have stated that they will give X amount of dollars to a student that is a runner-up and or winner of this award that goes on in majors in computer science. And what schools, you got to go and look at the website because that's constantly changing. That's just up to the school, but there are schools that do so. I know Rutgers offers money. I definitely know Rutgers does. And definitely there's a couple more regional schools for like the greater Philadelphia region. Villanova offers money, UPenn offers money. So there's definitely opportunity there for the students. And they don't have to be a winner. And they don't have to win just their senior year. They just have to be a winner or runner-up once in the 4 years that they complete the application. Like I said, the only caveat with the money is usually they have to be pursuing a degree in computer science or engineering. There's got to be some time. Because their goal is to keep them going. Additionally, as winners and runners-up, they kind of become part of a small community of everybody else throughout the country that's a regional winner and runner-up or national. And they kind of almost get priority on information and opportunities as far as internship and jobs that are released by companies and forwarded to NCWIC. So for instance, I had a student who was a regional winner last year. She just received an email the other day because Bloomsburg's hiring interns for software engineers, and the email started out as an NCWIC applicant and winner. We think you are a great fit based on your profile at NCWIC for this opportunity.
Oh, wow.
She didn't apply for the opportunity. She didn't even know about it. So they reached out to her because she was kind of in this community. That's definitely an awesome opportunity. It kind of sets them apart because these companies are trying to get greater female involvement and employment. So it kind of is already there. And I know for her, she was like, wow, I didn't even have to do the research to find this. Like they are actually reaching out to me to apply for it. Also, all of the regions have a award banquet, I guess, where they have a dinner, the students get a little trophy, and then depending on sponsors, they get a couple different awards and giveaway items. So definitely a pretty neat experience for you girls. Like I said, it's only for the females. And you can be on as a freshman to win, you can be an upperclassman to win. Another CS opportunity for students is the CMU Cybersecurity Challenge, the PICO CTF, which is going to run September 28th to October 12th. This obviously is open to everybody.
That's the online one? Is that the one that's the online?
I believe yes. And that's run through Carnegie Mellon, so that's something you may want to take a look at for your students as well. So one's more of like an activity or challenge thing you could do in the classroom, it's extra credit, supplement your curriculum, and the NCWIC thing's more of just an application style. Apply for this, your students do. I will say for the NCWIC thing, just go back, The questions have a tendency to stay the same, so if you have an underclassman doing it, make sure that they save their written responses and essays, so that the following year, they can just make it better and add in any new information. Any questions? Anybody here? Anybody online have questions?
Does any, yeah, no.
Right, just some more opportunities. As always, Stockton has its Master of Art in Instructional Technology, completely online now, which is, I think, for the, hey, you can't just get up and leave every night to come to class, so there's the online opportunity. Definitely something to look at, as we talk about every time we have a meeting. About half of our members in attendance usually went through this program. They speak very highly of it. The coding teacher certificated series at the SRIETTC is offering this series of coding classes. So you can take a look at some of these, everything from microbits with Intro to JavaScript to programming with Scratch. We have Raspberry Pi, Introduction to Python, Arduinos, MIT App Inventor. So there are a bunch of.
Oh, no. Go back down.
I got it. So a bunch of workshops, they do tie together. If you complete all of them, you get a certificate. If you go through the entire program, you get one certificate, but you can also enroll in the classes as like a standalone, this thing interests me, so this is what I'm going to learn. And in a future slide, we're going to talk about some legislation that's gone through, so this might be something that would be appealing, especially if you kind of just want to get a start, see what it's all about.
This is our second cycle of running these workshops, and the first round were very popular.
Most of the attendees are high school, middle school, and then everything.
We had a lot of middle school. We had people that, you know, they're there to get the person who doesn't normally teach computer science into being able to teach computer science. Since we have such a need, we're targeting people who don't normally teach computer science.
And so, like I said, covers all gamuts from the expert to learn something as well as somebody brand new. And the expectation you come in is you are not familiar with these resources. That it's going to be built up from the bottom, so you're going to say, well, I can't go to the App Inventor because I am not a computer science teacher and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going to fall behind. The whole point is kind of to encourage it. We also have Makerspace Mondays, which are always popular and fill up fast. You take a look, everything from electrical engineering, little bits, 3D printing, programmable robots, motion animation. And these are 9 to 3, obviously, on Mondays. Some more CSDA-NJ information. We do have our chapters, but we also have our CSDA-NJ group, which kind of is everybody working on the same page, working together for the same stuff. They have Facebook, obviously Twitter. So kind of trying to create synergy between all the chapters. So it's awesome that the chapters are doing great things, but we also are looking at this as a whole group. We do have the CSDA-NJ Google group, which sends out emails that deal with information throughout the state, so that everybody's getting access to the same information. This is what allows you to see what other chapters are doing, what's going on in different areas of the state, different hackathons or programming competitions, or even just on this Google group, sharing resources and documents. And I'm starting a CS class, what textbook should I use? Right, so there's definitely a nice little Google group conversation that goes on through email that you definitely want to be part of. I'm pretty sure all of our members at this point should be members of this as well. If you are not, send myself an email and I can take care of that for you.
I did invite everybody to it. company that was on our list, so hopefully that moving.
All right, some big news in computer science legislation. In early August, Governor Murphy signed a bill for a computer science teaching endorsement. Right, so the bill has been signed. Now the DOE has to go through the whole process of regulation and how they go and try to enforce this and make this happen. Once the DOE develops it, basically the thing is going to be is colleges can begin to offer a 15 credit add-on CS endorsement for 9 to 12th grade teachers who currently hold certification in another subject. So you cannot get a teaching certification only in computer science through this. You would actually have to have some kind of certification in whatever it might be, business or history or math, English. And then you could take these 15 credits and get the actual CS endorsement added on to your certification. Because eventually the policy is going to be that you have to have this endorsement in order to teach computer science. We're not there yet because before that can be done, we actually have to have enough teachers with the certification. Otherwise, we wouldn't go teach science anywhere. That's kind of the stuff that they're figuring out. So we know we're going to have a computer science endorsement. Eventually, that's going to be a requirement to teach computer science courses. But what that timeline is going to look like is going to depend on the DOE and the regulations they develop. One thing to make note of is the law does have a grandfather clause for those who already teach CS. All right, so it's not a requirement until the NJ Department of Education decides that we have enough. And the other thing is, if you are teaching computer science within 3 years of when it becomes necessary or mandatory, you will be grandfathered in. So you wouldn't have to go through this program. So it's not 3 years from today. It's whenever there is enough teachers and it's now, all right, you have to have the endorsement to teach computer science. And within the 3 years prior to that timeline, you've taught CS, you will be grandfathered in and you wouldn't have to go through this program. That is definitely how it works, and that's awesome. So we know we got computer science being offered in every high school, slowly becoming a reality. That legislation was passed. Once again, it needs, the regulation needs to go through, how it's going to be implemented, and now we're going to complement that with qualified teachers to teach that computer science. Questions? Okay.
Another question is Stephen Stockton will be, and we're already working our computer science faculty, which is within our business department, and our School of Education faculty are working together to be able to respond to whatever the regulations are once they're developed.
And the next slide addresses that.
Okay,
Oh, good.
all right, I'm delivering my message. I was asked to deliver, so we're
Yeah.
definitely working on it.
They are working on it. It's computer science one. There's
Any comments from anybody online? Did I cover everything?
No, but I just want to make one other statement. I know Daryl Dietrich, Daryl's online with us. He's been very, very instrumental in all of this. He definitely deserves a lot of credit for the work that he's done to move computer science forward in New Jersey, in the eye of legislators and the Department of Education.
Absolutely.
So just wanted to give him a shout out.
Definitely. And that comment was kind of for you, Daryl. I think I covered everything about the legislation. Did I miss a vote on anything? Anything you want to add into that? Since you are the one who kind of made this happen.
No, I think everything you said was correct. Thank you for everybody. This has really been a team effort that we've been working like 6 years. As far as we're concerned, all the legislation that we're going to try to get through has now been passed. Really, everything is on the Department of Education and them for implementation, and we're hoping that we can work with them to do that. One of the ways to do that would be create some sort of action plan and state working group. So we're trying to push that along and see if that's a possibility. But right now, it's just kind of a talking point, but we haven't heard too much more. But really, it's been a team effort, and it's nice to finally be at this point.
Thank you, Darryl. All right, so like Darryl said, definitely an exciting time for CS education. So whether you're currently teaching and want to expand your program, or maybe you want to bring a program to your school, or you are teaching something else and you want to get into computer science, definitely kind of an important, critical time to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. All right, we got Stockton's, obviously, they host our meetings, and as such, I think it's important we recognize some of the offerings they have here. So they obviously have their computer science and information systems program here. Computer science information program offers a BS degree and a BA degree. For the BS degree, students can choose between two related but distinct concentrations in either computer science or information systems. If you go to the webpage, you can see more information on that.
Just a quick update, maybe the website wasn't, we actually now are offering 2 distinct BS degrees and a BA degree. So now we have a computer science BS and an information systems BS. They're no longer concentrations. They're actually completely separate majors with some different class offerings. So I would encourage anybody that's looked at it in the past to relook at it because there's some different interesting options. And then the BA is just a BA in computing. So more arts focused and would be an interesting offering for anybody that isn't as into maybe the math side and the programming side.
Awesome. We'll update that.
So we're missing a degree here? We have a BS and a BA?
So it used to be one BS with 2 concentrations. Now they're 2 completely separate BSs.
Okay. I'll update the slide for that.
Yeah, no problem, and it's not a big deal, I just, it's a new thing for this semester, so it's very new. And, but they're very excited about this and definitely help with accreditation and other things.
I don't think the other slide actually showed for some reason. I put it in there at the end, but there is, before you go on to the presentation, there is a slide in the presentation, and I'll email the survey to everybody that's on there, and it is just a survey if you're interested in a computer science teaching endorsement. And so there'll be a nice link. Please take it. We're just trying to collect information to gather interest and see what kind of degrees people have that are going to be interested in teaching this.
Now
Are we
that,
gonna forward that around to our membership and
Yeah, I'm gonna send it right now.
can they share with other people who are maybe
Absolutely.
non-computer science?
I'm gonna put it on the, it was already shared with our consortium, so it went out to 28,000 teachers. But we're trying to, really get, it's the beginning of the year, so we're probably gonna have to send it out a couple of times because
Right.
we're all just pressed for time with the year starting.
Because I've noticed a few jobs are coming available, and I was wondering if, once they're starting to become more available, we need
Yeah,
to see what people are looking for to get into that.
Yeah, so I'll send it out through email right now. I'll also post it on all the social medias and in our group, in our New Jersey group. And it will be resent to all of the teachers that we have access to. And it goes to all teachers because most of the people who are going to be teaching computer science are currently teaching something else. So everybody with access to.
all right, so that kind of ties up everything going on in the world of computer science. What we're talking about tonight is cybersecurity. It seems to be the cutting edge hot topic in education and computer science, cybersecurity. So I have a couple slides that are not my slides, they're actually from Mandy Galante, who was a teacher in the Red Bank Regional High School, or in that area, I believe. And she was kind of she created an awesome cybersecurity program at her school. Fortunately, she wasn't able to attend, but was kind enough to share this presentation with us, as well as some resources for getting your students involved in this, and or your children. So, why cybersecurity in high school? The U.S. is facing critical shortage of trained, skilled cybersecurity professionals. All right, our students are the ones that be cracking codes, creating new software tools, and as such, need to know the vulnerabilities, right? Finding flaws calls in things that already exist, and they can see this and you can read about it in the news every single day. Something's going on that pertains to the lack of good cybersecurity. So we need to not only push, let's say, computer science or information systems, but within that, what under that umbrella would be even more pertinent, and one of those things is cybersecurity. Just some data here, finding the talent. Today the U.S. has, and you can look at the numbers here, basically there's 301,873 jobs unfulfilled in cybersecurity. That obviously is a huge gap. Right? Projections are for 20% job growth to 2022 with an average salary of $95,000. So not only are there unfulfilled positions now, that's going to grow at an extremely high rate, and that is an extremely competitive salary. For sure, as teachers, none of us would have a problem if our school district decided they want to bump our salaries up to that. So definitely opportunity and money to be made. All right, and students don't know whether they have this talent or not because they have no opportunity to explore cybersecurity. Just like we don't have necessarily a ton of teachers with computer science background teaching computer science, and that's all right. It's glad we have teachers that are taking on that challenge and making the most of it with the same issue with cybersecurity. Right? Students don't know they have the talent because schools aren't offering it, because there's teachers who don't know it, don't feel comfortable trying to teach something they're unfamiliar with. So what I'm going to show you tonight is a website and competition that kind of tries to pull that concern back and show students ways to explore cybersecurity without the teacher being the expert, without it being a classroom where the teacher's teaching cybersecurity. It's more of a student-driven, discovery-based learning. All right, so what is CyberStart? It's an online learning platform based on Capture the Flag, which is a competition that's online as well. It's got games and puzzles and technical challenges. Each challenge has a story that kind of puts into context what the student is attempting to do or the hacking technique that they're exploring. There are sophisticated labs that run right on the web page, so you don't have to worry about what software do I need, how do I set this up. They sign in, they go on the web page, it's there, it works. And obviously, just like computer science in general, it encourages problem solving and persistence as students try to kind of work their way through this. And these are not only key characteristics for success in cybersecurity, but just life in general. And just quit when you hit some difficulty. You got to problem solve through it, got to work your way through it. All right, so all you need to compete or participate in this is a computer and a browser. Now, if you notice, there's limited functionality on mobile devices and Chromebooks, just something to keep in mind. You might run into some issues there. There are over 300 hours of content that the students can maneuver through and explore challenges they can try to solve. So that's a lot of content to keep them busy. The CyberStart game includes a field manual, hints, so at different activities, the students are going through this discovery, learning, and trying to complete challenges. If they get hung up on a challenge, there's like a hint button, which will give them clues on how to go about solving that challenge. So they are working on their own, but there is that assistance on some level. So you as the teacher may not even know how to complete the exercise they're looking at. Right? You may not be familiar with cybersecurity, but based on that hint and working through it, you would absolutely be able to assist your students in getting through some of these challenges. And it's set up in like a game system where there's points and in-game rewards to motivate the students as they go through the challenges. Things they learn about through CyberStart, things cryptography, some coding in Python, how web attacks work and how you can possibly stop them, social engineering, Linux commands, binary vulnerabilities, forensics, online safety. It covers a lot. And the awesome thing is, since it's got that in-game feel to it, the students don't realize they're actually learning something. Any questions at this point?
Do you happen to know the, excuse me, age range for this program?
So I don't know if they've given any age range. This is what I can tell you from my experience. I had, last year, the contest itself was just for female students. I had freshman female students with no computer science work on it, as well as AP level computer science students. They liked it equally. This summer, I taught a summer enrichment program, and my oldest group of students were 10, 11, and 12. And I threw out like the sample project out to them, and they loved the activity. Now, some of them they struggled with. In that 300 hours of possibilities, some of them are going to hit a level that they just can't do, but you can jump around. So that's a nice thing. How to implement in your classroom, variety of ways to do this. If you have an AP, CSA, or principal's class, this will be something that you have your students do when they're done in class. So you finish class work early, always wondering what I have my student do rather than just sit there. Right after the exam, maybe you want to kind of teach cybersecurity. You're not real familiar with it, but you're going to have it be student-based, project-based learning where they're getting their hands dirty. I think your AP students at that point after the exam would be thrilled to just be working on something rather than necessarily hearing you lecture about it. Sub-plans. So if you're out of the classroom, you know what? Go to Cyber, start, do some of those activities. Engage them. Busy. If you're looking for the whole school, one idea would be an hour code event or maybe a club event. All right, it can be used almost as a recruiting technique, as well as a way for students to see if this is a talent they have. Right, so students don't know what they know until they actually try and explore it. Python programming class, you could use the specific Python programming challenges that are in there. They're not the only challenges, but they are there, so you can have your students hone their skill with that. And for digital literacy, maybe you're not a computer science teacher, but you have digital literacy in your curriculum, whether that's through business or ethics or whatever else you might be teaching, applications. Challenges at levels 1 through 3 focus on digital hygiene and online safety. So those are things that would pertain to all students. And I think those in particular kind of go back to the question you just had, what level student, they could fit just about any student. And no matter how old you are, these are things you should be thinking about: online safety, digital hygiene. All right, what do you need to know? So the next question comes, great, I'm going to teach this, or I'm going to cyber start, but I don't know what I'm doing. Where's my PowerPoint? What do I have to know? What are the vocab? Where's the textbook? What do you need to know as a teacher before using the game in the classroom? One, you don't have to have any experience. Absolutely none, nor do you ever have to have studied computing in the past to be successful. So that concern of, I can't do this in my classroom goes away. Right? You'll be able to do it. It's truly student-driven, inquiry-based learning, meaning you are not lecturing. You are not necessarily even the expert in the room. You are going to be the expert at problem solving and figuring out how to help the students get to the right answer. You don't need to know it, but you're going to be the one who, through your experience in teaching, your own educations, are able to work through these exercises and get where you need to be by using the resources available to you through the website. And I know that's a little bit of a shift in education and how we see education, and sometimes that's a struggle for teachers who are used to being the expert and want to be able to answer every question right away. Well, with this, you don't have to be, and that's okay. It's actually expected that it is not, because most teachers don't have cybersecurity background. So you as the facilitator are there to provide time, motivation, encouragement, and to help the students kind of work through this and pick up the new skill. All right, so Cyber Start is kind of twofold to it. There are activities where you can just go online and complete the activities. There is also a competition component to this. All right, so there is a Girls Go Cyber Start competition where it opens up for a certain window. The students work in pairs and they complete as many activities as possible. They can then see their ranking in their individual state. So last year, they had a Twitter account and they were posting the rankings. So I know my students who participated got to see their rankings of where they stood in the competition. And that kind of just encouraged them and they got excited about doing it. I had my students do this almost as like an individual outside of classroom thing, since it was only for the girls. And I couldn't give up last time because I had boys as well. They need to do something. And my biggest problem was I couldn't get those doing the competition to pay attention in class and stop doing this. So it definitely is something that kind of hooks them. Right, so the competition, February 2018, it was 6 days. You can see 6,500 high schools participated, 16 states. There was some kind of survey ahead of time. 35% of girls had interest in cybersecurity before doing this. Almost 70% that they would consider cybersecurity career after doing it. Right, so clearly, one, it's valuable information. Two, it is an engaging activity. Our student-based numbers do not jump all of a sudden without our students being engaged and actually enjoying it. Right, there are awards for the groups that win. The 3 top scoring teams in each state won Chromebooks or Beats plus cash. Bad thing, so the group won that. 3 schools in each state were with the most registered players won money as well, so simply for registering. And then the top scoring teams nationally won a Chromebook and cash plus free 3-day trip to Women in Cybersecurity Conference in Chicago. So definitely some incentive for the students there. Questions? All right, so what's next? As you can see, this fall, it's going through a pilot phase in 2 states, and we happen to be one of those states. So we're at advantage right there. Since last year was implemented as a competition, a pilot is intended to make necessary adaptations for use in the classroom. So they like the competition idea, but they also want it to be something that you can use in your classroom whenever you need to use it. As an entire unit, as a standalone project, as something for subs, after AP, whatever it might be. Right, so it says here, Czech Cyberstar local high schools in additional states like 2018, which we don't have to worry about because we're 1 or 2. All right, so Cyberstar licensed pilot schools will be available in early October. All right, the costs for these licenses are covered by a grant this year. So, will not be spending any money out of your pocket. In addition to this actual grant, they are also still going to run the competitions. So if you were to apply to be a pilot school, which the next slide will talk about, you'll get access to all of the resources, but everybody will be able to have their students participate in the 2 competitions. The one for the girls, and they actually are going to do one for the boys as well this year. I am not sure if they're going to run simultaneously. And so that competition will still be there, and that'll be in February, March window. Those dates are to be determined. The competitions will be open to every state. 2 things here. Deciding whether this is something that interests you and you want to apply to be one of the schools participating in this pilot, as well as keeping in the back of your mind February, March date where your students can participate in the actual competition. All right, so if you're interested in bringing Cyberstar to your school, there is an email address. You include the name, the subject, choose your emails, and school information. You'll become part of their mailing list. And then, I don't know if they are having every school that's contacts that to be part of the pilot program or how exactly they're determining that, but you will be able to get more information back from them. So you'll know about the game itself in the classroom as well as the competitions. Once again, the game for the classroom is just piloted in Maryland and New Jersey. The competition itself will be all the states that have access to 6 or so states, and that'll be in February and March. So what I wanted to do now is actually show you the website, just so you can kind of get an idea of what this would look like for your students. So the website, this is just simply like, well, let's take a look. at what resources are out there. So the website is go.joincyberdiscovery.com. Just go click play now. And I just click start playing. All right, so they took my name. If you notice, there's a time counter here, and there is a percentage complete. And we'll just look at some of these. We won't do all of them. But this may be something that you try with your students early on in the school year, and you see, you know what, this engage them. You can see the different activities. The activities are labeled, which I really like. You have open source intel, cryptography, web attacks, forensics, binary attacks, Linux, and then you're done the game, the sample game. Also, each level has, whether it's easy or medium or hard, but let's just say right here, we click play. And what do we get here? Stuff that you can't see, maybe it's, or either trying to get access to social media account of a gang member on a site called, I can't pronounce it, using the password reset form. We already had two key pieces of information that we got from the post on other sites, a username and their favorite color. See if you can use what we have to guess the answer to the remaining questions. Guess the right age, submit the form successfully to get the answer code. When you get it, put it in the box above and click submit code. All right. So we also have tips from Agent Q. Sometimes when you post on a site can help hackers gain access to your accounts and other sites. You can also accidentally give away clues about yourself. For example, all right, let's get that. So here's this person's username. We have Lars_1986. Favorite color is yellow. So that was determined based on looking at somebody's other social media accounts. And what this is replicating is, what if you were trying to reset your password? Somebody's trying to reset your password. Somebody's trying to hack into your account. They figured out your username because that's the username you use. They figured out your favorite color. I don't know, because it's all over Instagram. Now, you need to figure out, well, what would I put if you were the hacker on the age for this person? Any takers on what you put in for the age and why?
32.
32. Why 32?
1986 to 2018 is 30.
Because the username appears to be a date.
But it could be the year we graduated.
And that's
High
the
school,
thing.
college, there's not a lot of choices.
You don't know definitively, but if you're looking at this, you're trying to figure out if you're a hacker. Well, maybe that's the day they were born. The year they were born. So I click submit and log in. And it says success, the flag in. So basically what that is saying is, I got this right. We got this right. Their age is 32. So now, if we were trying to reset their password based on the information that we were able to get for their username and their favorite color off of a different website, we've now reset, or got access to reset this person's password, which means you can now get into their account. So what your student would then do is highlight this flag, copy it, up here. It says correct, well done, you got it right, go back to the challenge. So now they finish that challenge, and then depending on how you want to do this in the classroom, you can talk about social engineering and how by extracting information about people, you can actually find out more information about people. Right, I think the Jimmy Kimmel, where they went out and interviewed people on the street about their passwords. Has everybody seen that? They go on the passwords and the interview starts asking people like, hey, what's your password? And the person's like, oh, I would never tell you. So then the interviewer's like, well, what's a good password? And people start just giving out information. They're like, well, I think like if you put the street you're born in, or the street you live on and the year you're born, that's a good password. Then the interviewer asks like, hey, do you watch the Lakers? And the person's like, no, I don't like the Lakers. And ask them about like Kobe Bryant. And like, oh, by the way, where did you grow up? And they're like, oh, I don't know, Oakland. And then the interviewer asks, oh, really? I have family there. What street did you live on? And the person would give the street. Then ask some more random questions, like, wait, maybe you went to high school with my friend. When were you born? And the person gave their date of birth, and then all of a sudden the person said, so let me tell you, your password is this. And the people on the street were like, oh no, I just gave away my password. So kind of gets the students thinking about those things. Just take a couple look at some of these other challenges. We're not going to do all of them, but these are the kind of activities that the students are working on. So our agents have been looking to get hackers in Norway and need some help tracking the movements. We know someone hacked the site. We've been monitoring from a coffee shop a couple days ago. Have looked at the location check-in site. Circle that one of the gang, Sanford, uses occasionally. Was he in a coffee shop at the right time? Then you come down here. All right, and you can look at all the places they checked in. Was he at a coffee shop at the right time? So clearly Starbucks as well as Boston Coffee. So then how do we know what the right time was? Back over here. It says, agents have been. If you find the right coffee shop, the answer code you need is its building number. So what building number do we want to try first? We have 2 coffee shops based on check-in, so we need to try 44, or we can try 5. But that was incorrect, so it's going to tell them, no, that's incorrect, keep trying. And you can see, this is probably something that the middle school students do well, right? And then you have,
That was my question, like, is it, it's just for high school or can we really?
it's all over the map. There's 300 hours worth of challenges. Like I said, I've done it with my high school students, I do it with my summer enrichment students, and the arts age group that I did it with was 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They
So
loved
is
it.
there a way, because I'm 4th, 5th, and 6th, so is there a way to, do you have to do it a little bit to decide what they're capable of, what they're not capable of, or they just kind of say it's too hard to move on to what's easier?
Well, what they can do is, so if they're in this one and they're like, I don't like this one.
They go somewhere.
Yeah, then if you, I were to come right here, it says not sure, but another challenge to play.
That's nice.
Sorry, give me out of there.
Student
I'm out.
choice.
And then the other thing becomes, if you direct, what you want to do with some of your younger students is direct them a little bit. Like with that first activity, you were able to figure out that date might have been their birth. They're probably not putting that together, but if you were to say, hey, what does this look like? What thing has 4 numbers in it? That's personal to somebody. Maybe then you pull out that, oh, that's a year, maybe it's the date of birth. So I think you might have to tweak it depending on how young they are, but they can jump in and out of the activities.
It could be
It's good for yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like students do it on their own. Here, it's about trying to figure out a person's passcode. So the students would know that the numbers involved 2, 4, 5, and 7. They have to figure this out. They're just going to try to do that by brute force. But hopefully what your students would get out of this is there should be some rhyme or reason to what they're choosing. Right? Because otherwise you're going to want to remember what I try to guess.
Yeah.
Right? So now you're starting to think like problem solving. Don't do 2, 5, 4, 7, and then do 7, 4, 2, 5. Like, don't randomly pick 4 numbers. Have a system in place. Right? And then maybe have a conversation of, yeah, to do this as a person, not so easy, but a computer could rattle through these numbers how quickly. And so, like I said, there's a variety of challenges, variety of difficulty levels. Like I said, they can always go back, pick another challenge. Let's see what else. Group message, be a medium activity. Right, and these are all skills that they would need dealing with cybersecurity. What contact those? Our teams have been investing in getting packers, they're running bottling factory, believe they're taking the market orders for their side business of stolen goods through the contact form on their website. Unused form is vulnerable to SQL injection. Now, some students are gonna go, I have no clue what you're talking about. Some teachers are gonna go, I have no clue what you're talking about. Right, that's gonna happen. So, in the tip over there, a SQL injection vulnerability is simply, and it explains it for you a little bit. Right, so you don't have to be the expert, you didn't have to know that. Right, I didn't know that looking at this. But that yellow box kind of gives you an explanation on what it is. Right, see if you can reorder the different parts of the SQL statement so students can interact with the website. And like I said, there's a variety of challenges, and at any point they can say, yes, I don't want to do that challenge. They can leave it, they can come out. And it really lets your students find what it is that they want to do.
This is timing them for an hour.
Yes.
Can you stop it and come back on another day, or is it a 1 hour shot for this particular, just the practice thing?
This practice one, I have not figured out how to stop it, but what you can do is you can come back in the next day, but I think you'll wind up resetting it. But you notice to log into this, I literally just put my first name in. So it's not really tied to an account. It's not gonna save your progress, but if you remember the ones you did, you can come back in the next day and do the ones you didn't do, and just not click back on the ones you did. So, and that's would be, like this is this for you to explore and try it out. For the actual pilot program, I'm not sure if that feature is for you there. We can look at that.
It's got some kind of elements. I mean, a lot of them do.
I mean, this little challenge looks like it would be a really good level for my sixth grader.
So it's kind of, you're gonna have to make it
They would
work.
be able to be successful.
This one is all about finding the hidden message. Right, so kind of just find, there is a hidden message in there somewhere. Right, so taking a look at that. Being good at forensics work sometimes means looking at lots of irrelevant data and being able to find one small thing that matters. The text here seems to be Latin. It doesn't mean much, but can you search for the one secret thing in it? So if you look, you'd be able to find it. Find it.
Definitely not without my glasses.
It's right here.
Secret code, mountain.
Secret code, of course, not a highlight notice you don't see it, but it says secret code is found. So that is the message to be found. And then you can talk about how did you do that. I know the first thing my students in summer enrichment wanted to do, which I thought was impressive, is they highlighted this and they tried to dump it in Google Translate, have it translate it. Completely unnecessary. It don't actually take some time to look through it. But once again, telling them that forensics is, you got all these distractions, what's the little piece you're looking for? Right, how can we become better at that? So those are just an example of some of the activities that are there. I do think it's a neat way to teach. Like you said, it takes the onus off of us being the expert in the classroom. And you don't even have to have the right answer either. Right? And if the student says, is this correct? You don't have to say, yeah, I've done this 4 times, I have the answers. It's not correct, it's going to tell me it's wrong. It's correct, it's going to tell me it's correct. So there is not really a key for you, but that's right, because it's being kind of checked as they do it. Any questions or
So this is kind of like the play and practice as opposed to the competition.
This would be the play and practice. This is what I imagine the pilot program at Cstasnj, New Jersey and Maryland are doing, where you can contact them, where you would get 300 hours worth of this stuff. And then the competition itself, which I believe is just for high school, I could be wrong, would be, here's all the challenges, it's timed, it's like a week, I think I said, week or 6 days, and they're on their own to do it whenever they can do it. So those 6 days is not timed in a certain amount of hours. So I had some students, like I said, that would come to school and they would try to do it during my class and stay for study hall and continue with it. Then sit through there through lunch and do it. And then go to class and then try to come back at the end of the day and do it. Like, that's the competition, just you work on it when you can work on it. And in your groups, you can work on different projects at different times. So you don't all have to sit down together and do it on one computer. It's a collective whole. The other,
Is it based on the amount that they've completed against the completion rate of another school?
as far as the challenge, I'm not certain on the scoring. I feel like the feedback I got from my students was it depended, you got points on how quickly you did it. And I think the different levels had different points. So what it sounded like when I talked to my students was kind of like what we do for our programming competition, that the quicker you solve problems in relationship to other groups solving problems, if you're the first to solve a problem and no one else has solved it, you're getting more points, because that implies it's harder or ahead of the curve. I have a feeling it's kind of the same in the score. I'm not positive how they generate their score for this. The two components are obviously competition, is entices for the students, and once you time they can win stuff, they definitely buy in. At the same time, I don't think they want the students to go to just the activities that score the most points, so I don't know if they'll ever really reveal that information. Maybe they do on what the student sees. I couldn't see what the students saw, who my students did last year. But I think definitely something worthwhile, especially if you're trying to engage your students in something and you don't know where to start. Like I said, put that slide back up there. If you're interested in bringing Cyber Start, which is the pilot classroom, 300 plus hours, send an email. And then for the actual competition, keep an eye out for things February, March. That will definitely be an email through the CSTA Google group for sure. You're all over this. Any questions from the people online?
No, Daryl, this is a great competition.
Did you have students do the competition last year, Daryl?
Yeah, I had 23 girls do it, I think, and we ended up getting like $2,000 from the competition for the number of girls we had involved.
Awesome. You had the same problem with the girls wanting to do it during your class when you were teaching?
Yeah, there were girls that wanted to do that, but they were like meeting on their own and stuff like that. If I were to do it again, though, I would definitely reserve the whole week after school and maybe even a Saturday, morning to do it. They just got into it. It was a great competition.
Yeah, and I got the same feedback from my students. Like they were all in. And none of them had any experience on cybersecurity. They had program level experiences, but not on cybersecurity.
What was nice too is that we had students who had no experience whatsoever, and they loved it too. I had one girl in particular who actually decided to change her major based on the competition.
Awesome. Any other comments from our online group?
I just put that in there so we knew that you were demoing that they should catch the archive to see what it looked like.
That's just the link for the demo I just kind of went through. Hold on. All right, so that kind of wraps up today. A couple notes about future meetings. There's the schedule for the future meetings. November 14th, January 9th, March 13th, May 8th. One thing that we really want to do this year is kind of definitely adding a stronger PT component. I think we kind of agree on that, so that when you come here, the guest speakers, the industry people, that's all awesome stuff. We also want this to be an opportunity for teachers to communicate with each other. What are things they can actually take into the classroom? Kind of like this cybersecurity thing. So if you have a specific topic, please reach out to us and tell us. We will find somebody to present on it, or one of us will take it up. We just need ideas of what teachers need. Right, so what is it that you want? Robotics, all right, we can look into that. Is it teaching the Java course? Is it starting a computer science program? Is it cybersecurity like we saw tonight? Is it activities for students outside of the classroom? How do you handle certain programming scenarios and grading? Whatever it is that people want, please let us know. You just shoot us an email, right, so we can figure out.
What some other chapters have done is they've actually just put out a spreadsheet of the dates and the meeting dates, and they've had people sign up for different slots to present things.
So,
That is something that we can do.
so maybe we'll send out a spreadsheet of desired topics, as well as if you're interested in presenting. So I know not everybody wants to hear from me every single time we have a meeting. Now, I'm all right if somebody else wants to present the PD. We have had some people come in and that's been awesome. But if you're an expert at something or you're doing something cool, even if you're not the expert, like that cybersecurity stuff, that wasn't even my slides, those weren't my slides. I know nothing about cybersecurity, but it's something I found and I share it with you, and then everybody can kind of take it and run with it. So if you're interested in presenting something, please reach out to us, especially if you are not a high school teacher. Because I know I'm a high school teacher, so I have a tendency to cater a lot of the stuff that I am looking up and finding to high school. We've got a lot of members who aren't high school teachers, so providing them with valuable stuff is also helpful. So we will set up a document and get it out there where you can type in different topics you want to learn about, as well as what you might be interested, and if you're interested in presenting. And if you want to take it on, you say, I want to present, but I don't know what, just give me a topic and I'll figure it out. That will work for us too.
We have someone who joined us, just in the last couple of minutes. It's Arda, and, she wants to know if we're aware of the Coder Z competition. I'm not aware of the Coder Z competition. Arda, can you hear me? Can I unmute your mic? Hold on a second.
Okay. I'm an officer in CSTA Philly. And I came across this group that this company called Intelitech that has a product called Coder Z. And they are running a competition starting, it's from October 15th to December 3rd or something like that. And it's for middle school children. And they would, in their product, it is training on how to program a Lego EV3 robot, but it is a much easier interface than Lego's interface. It's actually a drag and drop programming language. And Pennsylvania is offering this, and it gets free access to Coder Z for the students. There's no charge involved in it.
Coder Z is normally a paid product. I've seen it, and it has that emulator for the EV3, right?
Yes.
Correct. So you're saying Pennsylvania has this for free for this competition?
Yes. Anybody who's involved in the competition it's free to use.
So we could do this in New Jersey then?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. It's a great program. I saw it, but nobody wants to pay for anything. So I've seen it the last 2 years at the CSTA conference, and and they're constantly sending me emails, but they didn't send me one about the competition.
It's called I think it's called CCRC.
CRCC.
On their website. And I'm going, I do work with Girls Who Code in my county, Bucks County, and I'm trying to get a couple groups of girls to work on this. Out of school, it's an after school program that I'm working with.
Okay,
That sounds awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm gonna add that to the slideshow and the information and everything. It is a great program. Thank you so much.
I think it's exciting because I did actually use it with students at Villanova, and they loved it. This summer, I was teaching an online class, a completely online class, and we had to program EV3s. And it is not an easy task to do, even when you're with the students. But online was ridiculous. And they let me use Coder Z free of charge, just as a test.
I had done a trial with it. I really liked it, mostly because I didn't have to put the robot together. But yeah, that's awesome. I will include all that information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Any other?
Just real quick, from the Stockton side, as far as hosting events, we're going to make a little bit of a change for the upcoming year. We're really going to refocus on the CSTA event that we host usually in the spring, and then also look at other possibilities of hosting, smaller CSTA events possibly. We're going to move efforts away from Stockton. We really want to concentrate on the CSTA programming competitions and getting the high schoolers very involved. So we definitely plan to still do the one in the spring. I would encourage any discussion about some other possible events that we could do, and in moving away from the larger stock cat longer event to more of a concise, beneficial event to CSTA members and students. So if anybody has any suggestions, ideas, anything else they would like to discuss Stockton, we'd love to hear them. Otherwise, we certainly look forward to kicking off some planning for the spring event.
Awesome. So I know planning will start shortly for the competition. That's we're doing that.
Yes, we'll plan to start soon.
Yeah, we're ready.
Are we still gonna do the week of spring break?
I think that's the plan. I think,
That's the only time we have those live available.
right, I believe that falls on the 5th, the Friday is the 15th this year. So I believe that will be, but at our first meeting, we'll sure up the date and make sure that that works for everybody.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to get their trip ones and everybody else does. So we need to set a date out.
Yeah, definitely. And hearing what you said about the professional development, if we can't get anybody to present at an upcoming meeting, certainly if there's any topics at that event, obviously we have a information security department who will be happy to present. We're doing a lot of things on our own around phishing and other exploits right now. So we could certainly have somebody present for the teachers involved at that event. But if you have an empty spot in an upcoming meeting, I could probably get something together as well.
Awesome. All right, good stuff. All right, so that moves us on to our last slides. Obviously, we just kind of had some discussions. Any more comments, questions, news that anybody wants to share, anything neat going on? What they would have for this meeting were shout outs. Make sure that you are sending us shout outs on the awesome things you're doing in the classroom. I know it's summertime, we're all just getting back in the swing of things, so maybe you didn't have anything. But as you do anything in your class and your students do, share that information so we can kind of share it to the whole community, whether it's opportunities that maybe another teacher didn't know about, or just kind of promoting your own program. We all know that with computer science education, we're usually the standalone teacher in the building. So it's important that you have your support through our organization, as well as the ability to promote what you're doing, because it's all great stuff. That being said, our next meeting will be Wednesday, November 14th. Presenters to be determined. I'm sure our mailboxes will be flooded with ideas or what you are looking for as far as presenters go. The presentation will be in the same room here, meeting room 5 in the campus center. So we're going to be here all year, pending any last minute changes. So the meeting rooms could remain consistent, which is kind of nice. but we'll continue to send out emails ahead of time of meetings with an agenda for the meeting.
Yeah, Daryl said something too. He said, in the chat, he said, the director for the CRCC, which is the Code Z, is Joshua Schuler. I'll put his email address in the presentation. The CS specialist in New Hampshire contacted Daryl about Code Z for New Jersey. It fell through the cracks. He didn't look into it. He can do an introductory email if anybody wants. Daryl, does that mean that it's not available for New Jersey right now? Because I was looking on the site and I didn't see New Jersey listed.
So I don't think it's available for New Jersey. I can look into that. That was right when we were trying to get the legislation through, and I just it was not high on my priorities at that time. But I can send an email and see if they're interested, and then go from there. I don't really have the time to lead an effort, but you know, if somebody's interested and they're interested, I can put some contacts together.
Okay.
Great. I don't know where everybody's coming from, but if you do feel the need to ever mix it up, we could consider doing a meeting down at the Atlantic City site. There's some really fun spaces down there. We'd love to have you all there. So maybe not for the November meeting, but at a future one, if you just need a change of scenery, that could be a venue meeting as well.
Parking included.
Parking included, yeah, maybe May. It should be fun.
All right, so that wraps up our meeting for this evening. Thank you for attending. Thank you for coming online, and good luck with the start of the school year for everybody. Stop sharing.
Stop sharing. We want to go into that breakdown then.